Welcome to the Mental Health and You podcast. This podcast brings you information and advice from across the Norfolk and Suffolk NHS Foundation Trust, with a range of teams, services and those who use them sharing their experiences and wisdom with us every fortnight.
Hello, welcome to our podcast. Today, I'm Julie, and today I'm going to tell you a little bit more about my role as chaplain and the chaplaincy team. And today I have Andrea with me, who has benefited from chaplaincy. So, Andrea, thank you for being with me today. It's great to have you here.
Hi, Julie. Just thank you for inviting me. It's great to be here. And hello, everyone who's listening into the podcast. So I'm guessing you've invited me here today so we can have a chat about what you do and how chaplaincy can help people. Is that right?
Yes, that is. It's about the chaplaincy service, what the service has to offer, and what I do within my role as chaplain. I do many things within my role as chaplain, do a lot of listening, sitting alongside people in times of crisis, as well as during times of recovery. And there's many ways as a chaplain we work. We work with people on a one-to-one basis.
Yeah.
We work with people in groups. We work with people creatively. We will engage with different activities. We'll sometimes have discussions, but we sit alongside people at a time when, as we know, during a time of crisis, we can feel that we've lost a real sense of hope, and we need somebody to hold that hope for us. And sometimes our presence is enough, and yet other times we might need to sit and listen, to be in regular contact with people, to share things with people that they won't share with anybody else.
Yeah.
So it's a safe place. We provide a safe place where there's no judgment, where people can share what's on their hearts and their worries and their concerns. So that's a little bit about what a chaplain does. Lots of people think chaplains, historically, they were ministers of the church, but chaplaincy is more diverse now, and there are chaplains of many faiths, whereas historically that would have been, if you were a chaplain, you would have been an Anglican male figure.
Oh, okay. That sounds fantastic. And it's wonderful that the trust is offering that and we've got you on board with us. A couple of times I heard you say we. So do I take from that that you're not the only chaplain within the trust? Are there more of you?
Well, we are a very small team. There is two of us. I cover Norfolk and Waveney, and my colleague covers Suffolk. And I'm very pleased to say that we have just recruited our second chaplain, who will be working in Suffolk after a period of time when the previous chaplain left. So we're very happy to be having a new member, my colleague, a new member to the team, who I'm sure will bring many creative ideas and bring a lot of themselves to the role.
Oh, that's wonderful. I'm so glad you found someone because it's a big area to cover, isn't it, on your own? Um,
It is.
so yeah, I'm just wondering what brought you to join the chaplaincy team then, Julie? What brought you to us at the trust?
What brought me to you at the trust is I'd worked as a nurse, a general nurse, and I'd
Yeah.
also worked in social work for a while as a unqualified social worker.
Okay.
But I never felt that peace that comes from either of those roles. I felt there was something missing. But what I recognized during the time when I was a nurse, during the time when I worked in social work, was how I wanted to give people space and time to be able to share those things that they couldn't share anywhere else.
Yeah.
And when I was nursing, one of my aims was to be a spiritual lead and to bring spiritual leads into the workplace. So to do that, alongside my general nursing, I became an accredited preacher in my own faith tradition. And I was in the process of, I'd actually started the process of becoming a minister in the church when things changed. And that wasn't the way forward, because at the time I thought I needed to do that to be a chaplain. And as I said earlier, chaplaincy is now very diverse and is recognised that different people from different walks of life, different professions, bring something to the role of chaplaincy. And
Yeah.
I felt that I'd had the life experience alongside working experience to actually make a difference to people and give them the time to reconnect with those things that they valued, which brought hope and meaning, especially during those times of crisis and during recovery, where there is a sense of loss of identity and a loss of the things that are familiar and important to people.
Yeah, it's really, really important for people, isn't it, who are using our services or supporting someone using our services, or equally a staff member, just to have someone to talk to and a safe place to go. What
Mm.
what do you enjoy most about being one of our chaplains, Julie? You know, what is it that makes you come to work every day? What
I
brings
don't
you back?
is people. I would say it's not. I wouldn't use the word enjoy. I think rewarding, because
Yeah,
I am so
okay.
rewarded by the people I meet. They give me so much back, and I think what is so rewarding is to see people reconnect with themselves and their self-worth,
Yeah,
and to regain that sense of hope that life is there to be embraced, and to be able to sit alongside people during the most difficult moments in their crisis is a privilege, and a privilege that I will never ever take for granted, because I've met some really wonderful people, um, gifted people who have really enriched my life as well as I hope I've enriched theirs.
yeah, and I'm sure that you have. So supporting people then is one of the things that you say that you feel reward from. How
Yeah.
can you support people if they want to get involved with chaplaincy?
Well, we like I say, we do different things to support people. We're there on the end of the phone. We're there in person to sit alongside people. We're there to sit with them in the silences. We're there to sit with them in their time of frustration. There to be with them when they want to rediscover and reconnect with those things that re-engages them with their identity. So we want to know the person, and we do that in many different ways. We do it by, like I say, offering a one-to-one where they have the space to a confidential space to just sit and to share. We do the group work, and that group work might involve using sensory aids and music. And for some people, it's about reconnecting as well to their church. So we would reconnect them with their church, or it might be whilst they're in hospital that we do that by holding a service where we sing and we have quiet times and we have prayer. We also do it by providing spaces within our trust, which are known as contemplation spaces or multi faith spaces, where people can go and they can sit quietly, and they're open to all faiths and none. And
Oh,
chaplaincy is open to all faiths and none.
Okay.
Chaplaincy embraces everyone because although people might not be religious, you can argue that we are all spiritual in a sense, that we have those beliefs that are the essence of who we are and the life we live.
Yeah, it's very true. So the multi-faith rooms, are they dotted about all of our trust buildings
Yeah,
or?
yes, they are in. You've got a multi-faith room. We've got a multi-faith room at Helsden, which is known as the Haven.
Yeah.
A lot of people still refer to it as the chapel, but others call it the Haven. We have two at Carlton Court in Lowestoft, one in the Dragonfly unit, and one in the older persons unit. We have a contemplation room at Hamerton Court, which is open to everybody from Hamerton Court and the Julian. We have one at Northside House for staff and service users and their families. One at Woodlands in
Brilliant.
Ipswich, and one at Mariners. I don't know if it's Mariners House. I think that's in Ipswich because Ipswich is not really my patch, but we do have one there. Where
Okay.
else? Yeah, we have quite a range of areas which offer a contemplation space or a multi-faith room. But alongside of that, we can always find a space if people aren't able to access those rooms for whatever reason. We can always find a quiet space for people to have that time of reflection, meditation, prayer. These are all the things that a chaplain can offer. Um, the time to um, the time to reflect,
Yeah.
and that can be done in different ways through creative art, through listening to music, through singing, um, through reading different texts, poems.
Yeah. Sounds brilliant. And are you open to suggestions? So, if people come from all different faiths, as you said, but if someone had a request, I don't know, for say a book or
Yeah,
a spiritual book, would you be
yeah.
able to provide that?
Yes, we do our best to provide books. There are books in the multi-faith rooms
Brilliant.
and the contemplation rooms, which we replenish and hopefully recruit some monitors who would be happy to support us with that so that people do have those books available and do have that space um, to be able to sit.
Brilliant. So there's chance for people to get involved, even though they're not actually a chaplain or anything.
Oh,
They can support you and help you.
yes, yes,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's great. Wonderful. Thanks for explaining that.
It's all
Yeah.
right. I hope it's been useful. I probably haven't explained everything. That's very because our role is very diverse in the sense of how we meet people. It's yes, we are there for people with their religious needs, but we are there for everyone, and it's
Yeah.
about being person centered in our approach, about providing that, like I say, that non-judgmental, safe space, confidentially, so that people can express who they are.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, it's lovely. Do you remember? I mean, we've known each other quite a while now, Julie. Do you remember how we first met?
Oh, tell me, Andrea,
Yeah,
tell me
I'll
how
tell
you.
you. So I remember something that you do to support just staff members. So people that are using services wouldn't be able to get involved in what I'm about to talk about, but I know that they will definitely be supported in the same way with kindness, compassion, and find a lot of comfort from meeting with you. But I think it was when we had the pandemic, I think, and you put together some prayer groups in
Ah,
the mornings. So several mornings a week, you offered a space for staff to come and meet with you, and we called it a prayer group. But it's not that, we just have a quiet space to contemplate and just think about people that we might like to support, and if you like, say a prayer or send a thought to. And I don't have any specific religion. I do believe that there's a higher power, but for me it was just about a group of people coming together who showed me empathy and support and kindness. We talked about our day ahead and things we might be struggling with. And yeah, because I live alone, that was especially important to me when I couldn't get out and meet other people. And I've made some great friends through the group. And I know that if there's a time I'm struggling and I can't make it to the group, then I can always contact you separately and you'll make time for me, and we'll do all the things that you've spoken about earlier.
I think one of the things
Yeah.
I do as well that I didn't mention earlier was we share in coffee and cake
We
and
do,
tea,
definitely.
and that is that brings people together uh, to feel that they belong, because when people are in hospital, they lose that sense of belonging sometimes when they're
Yeah,
in a crisis because of where they are. And we forget that the familiar things that are important in people's lives are not there anymore. They
no.
don't have those connections in the same way. So it's important that we try to recognize, that staff recognize that those things that are missing when they're in hospital, that actually promote their recovery and meet their spiritual needs. I
Yeah.
think that is because if you look at the nurse and midwifery guidelines, it says that spirituality sits alongside all the other components of care that we should be offering.
Okay. Yeah. So yeah, having chaplains in the service, then we're meeting that need, aren't we?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh, there is a need for volunteers. So if anybody listening would like to consider being a volunteer, please do make contact. You will see in the attachment that accompanies this podcast the way that you can actually contact the chaplaincy team.
Yeah, and I know that we've got a volunteer coordinator in the trust, and she's
Yeah,
always happy to have a chat with people, isn't she? She's really
yeah,
lovely.
yeah. And
Um,
so together we can sort of support people if they feel that they want to become involved in that.
yeah, that sounds fantastic. So, how do people get hold of you then, Julie?
They can they can find out more about us on the nsft.nhs.uk chaplaincy link through Google. We also have a spiritual care team at nsft.nhs.uk, so they can contact us in that way, or
Okay.
they can go through Health and Switchboard 01603 421 421, and they will transfer it through to me.
Okay. And if somebody is receiving care from us and benefiting from our services, so if they've got a care coordinator or a
Yeah.
clinician, could they ask that professional to contact you as well if they
Yes.
didn't want to do it themselves?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah,
But yeah. Yes. Of course. Yeah.
brilliant.
Oh.
Okay. Is there anything else you want to add? I obviously want to say a big thank you to you because you've made such a difference to my life. And, coming to the prayer groups in the mornings has given me a purpose, something to get up for, and to, just it's been amazing. But is there anything
Oh.
else you wanted to add that we haven't covered, Julie, that
And
just springs to
I
mind?
I think that chaplaincy is a very unique role,
Yeah,
because although we are part of the trust and although we are part of teams, we have a very different role to the clinicians, to the admin, and to all those other professional people that support people. So um, I think our role is very unique in that we do have the time, and that's no disrespect to any professionals. We do have the time. we can allocate that time to be with people when they need us to be. And I want to thank everybody in the Trust for actually giving me the privilege to be a chaplain for them.
Oh, and thank you so much for today,
Oh,
Julie. And
thank you, Andrea.
yeah, and thank you to everybody who's listening to us today, listening to our podcast.
Yes.
Yeah, and as Julie said, if you do want to find out more about chaplaincy, then please do get in touch. And yeah, I hope you have a wonderful day.
Yes.
Bye.
Bye for now.
Thanks for listening. Please subscribe to make sure you don't miss a future episode. Let us know what you thought of this episode by reaching out on social media. If you haven't already, listen back to previous episodes to hear some of the best mental health advice for you.